We're ready for action. The toss has been won by Andrew Strauss, the first match in 7 Commonwealth Bank Series matches around Australia. We're celebrating 40 years of one-day cricket. Yep, it was 40 years ago, almost to the day, the 5th of January 1971, that the first ever one-day international was played between Australia and England. It wasn't planned. There was a test match that was washed out, not a ball bowled. In fact, it ended up being a much longer test series than anybody envisaged. England won it against the Australians. John Snow and Geoffrey Boycott prominent. It was when Australia first saw the likes of Dennis Lillee, Rodney Marsh and Greg Chappell. Wonderful cricketers that went on to dominate the world game. We're ready now to go back up to the commentary box. Not back up, we're going up there for the first time today. And waiting for us are Ian Brayshaw, Mark Taylor and Michael Slater.
Thank you, Mark Nicholas, and you are looking smashing. Outstanding in that blue suit and big hair, bigger than normal for Nico. It's going to be a lot of fun. But for the players, it's about business as usual, I suppose, as they get back into the 50-over game. Brett Lee, wonderful opportunity for this Australian side. They had a taste of a victory the other night in the final 2020 match against England, and they're back to the same venue. Steve Davies, he's an aggressive style opener, left-hander. Get to see his best out here in Australia, but they say when he gets going, he's a little bit like Adam Gilchrist. But as I look alongside me, Tubby, it was so generous that you brought all your clothes for us to put on today. Thank you, and good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Michael and James, everyone back at home here, mate. The thing that got me about it was your delight in putting that shirt on. You want to keep that shirt, don't you? That one you've got on, it's, what is it, blue and red and bit of bone stripe in it.
Well, I think it's lovely. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to wear it out tonight. No doubt about it.
But put it this way, you've had a lot worse on, mate.
James Brayshaw, very like a young Richie.
Well, it was interesting to be introduced as Ian before by Nico, because this is the sort of rig my old man used to roll in the 70s. But I am looking forward to this. This is going to be fantastic. 40, 50,000, unbelievable venue. And the Australians have got 7 games to really start getting some momentum rolling towards a World Cup campaign. So, gee, the next week and a half, 2 weeks is going to be fascinating.
And I was saying earlier too about Brett Lee is about to open the bowling. Big game for him, I reckon. I don't reckon he's been penned in yet for Australia's one-day squad to the World Cup. So, big day for Brett Lee.
And we're away. 2 slips in place. And some swing back into the left-handed Strauss. He'll be enjoying back in there, and captain doesn't play 2020 cricket for his country, but very much that test and one-day format suits his style.
And there's all those spinners I talked about. Doherty, Smith, don't forget Dave Hussey bowls a few offers as well, so there's some bowling options there for Australia.
A bit of glove in there, I think. Full save mix-up, should be a runner. Oh, it's a balls up all over the place. Goes begging, not a good sign for the Aussies. He should have been on toast.
Well, it ends up being a dot ball. It's a half a chance catch. No one got a hand on it, but the chance was at the bowler's end. Davies was looking for a single. It's good. The throw's just a bit wide. Brett Lee sort of gets in the road there. A direct hit though. He's out by a mile. 2 fieldsmen just got on each other his road. Brett Lee's probably doing the right thing. He's trying to get back to the stumps, as a good bowler should. And in the end, Steve Smith was probably a little bit confused by him.
Nicely play, down the ground it goes. It's the shorter boundary here at the MCG, and it'll get there. 6 from the Brett Lee over. It's no wicket for 14. Should be down his throat, I think it is. Comfortably taken. Xavier Doherty's back in this one-day side as well. And Brett Lee's away.
Hang on a minute here. Once again, I think the umpire's told the batsman to hang on. He must have a look for a no ball. It's beautifully bowled from Brett Lee, provided he hasn't bowled a no ball, because set him up thinking about the full ball. Now let's have a look. What's Brett Lee done here? That's a no ball. That'll be a no ball. And I suppose that'll be a free hit. It'll cost Australia a run, and Davies will stay not out.
It's the 3rd time this summer.
Unbelievable. thought he got the first wicket of the match. Nicely taken in the outfield. Everything's good. And then, 30 seconds later, find out you've overstepped, and 2 runs are added to the score, and the batsman has a free hit coming his way. There's the no ball. It's definitely over the line, so there's no problem there. The agony and the ecstasy of modern international cricket.
Well, they've taken the run, so Andrew Strauss is going to be rewarded with the free hit.
The umpires just coming together, probably talking about the field now. Australia, I think, are allowed to change the field because the strikers changed. If Davies was still on strike, the field Australia had set for that no ball would have to be exactly the same. But because there's been a single taken, while that catch was being taken, there's now 2 men on the hook.
Drags that and drags it well. So Strauss has presented a gift and he put it away. He moves into the 20s. It'll be 4. It's right out of the middle. There's an example of the power from Steve Davies. Really did pierce the gap nicely. It was in the air. No chance of a catch though.
What a magnificent shot this is. This is the best shot we've seen today comfortably. He has smoked that wide and mid-on, and there's not a huge bat swing involved in this guy. Look at that. That's just nursing it right out of the middle. Magnificent timing, beautiful placement. A snapshot of why we hear so much about Steve Davies.
It was almost a back foot drive, wasn't it? Hand strength, and this is expensive. So far, Bollinger has been too expensive. Oh, that's been played beautifully. Probably find that was a little bit edgier than he wanted it to, but he certainly was trying to run it down there in fine fashion.
Shane Watson. It was a tough one, no doubt about it, but it went straight in the left hand and then just bobbed out. That's the sort of moment that can change a game.
Yes, top Australian sides over the years have latched onto these. Some might call them half chances. The truth of the matter is it went to hand, and guys like Watson in practice would fancy his chances of catching that, which well, there we go. There's the reaction of the bowler.
Change of pace, not a bad idea. It's nicely placed. Chipped over the offside field, and a 4. I'm saying there's only 2 men out for these first 10 overs. They're both on the leg side. This one's up in the air. It's going to be safe though, and almost goes for 6. That's what happens when you don't take your chances. The rubber of the green goes against you as well.
Yeah, it's also pertinent to point out that the captain, in circumstances like these, where we've just shown all these mishaps, he can be Douglas Jardine, and there's nothing much the captain can do about it. So really you are dependent on your bowlers. I mean, your bowlers have got to bowl legitimate deliveries. Your fielders have got to catch the ball. Your keeper's got to affect the stumpings.
Or over mid-off. That'll do. One bouncing over the rope.
The confidence at the moment of Strauss and Davies is just unbelievable. That man, probably halfway, just a little bit more.
12 overs bowled, none for 90 England, and extrapolate the current run rate out for 50 overs. 375 England again. I think Andrew Strauss would sign up for that right now. He'd settle for that. A run of ball from here on in, though, still gives him 318. Another change of bowling. David Hussey now back into the attack, this time from the members' end of the ground.
And they're just dying for this pitch to rip up a little bit. Little jigsaw pieces come out around the batsman's footwork, and have the ball that Hussey delivers stop a little bit. So timing is more difficult.
Yeah! Got him! Boy, did Australia need that. And it's David Hussey who picks up the vital wicket of Davis.
Well, at last it was a good delivery too, and if batsmen are going to be playing huge heave shots like this, then you can expect to roll them over if the ball's up and relatively straight. That one hit off stump. At last, they've struck. So Davies out for 42. It's 1 for 90.
Well, there we are. It's retro day, celebrating 40 years of this stuff, and that bloke has taken it right to the end. Even got the keeping pads on.
Either that or his son's pads. They didn't go past the knees.
Little attempted reverse sweep there from Trott that didn't come off. Extra bounce foiling him.
Well, it was premeditated. That's why it's a stroke that a lot of the time the batsmen have to premeditate. And Hussey outhought him.
Yeah! Oh, they like it. They like it, and there's a good reason why. Second wicket for the Aussies, and they've both fallen to David Hussey.
Yeah, the slowness of Dave Hussey. That one, he just tried to roll down fine and straight off the top edge. It might have even been the face of the bat. He was gentle in playing the stroke. Straight into the gloves. Terrific take, Brad Haddon. To stay there, any more deviation, it would have been difficult. But he takes it, yeah. 2 for 100.
Thrashed through the offside. Room for Peterson to swing those big arms, and that's his first boundary.
And it's the first time that Hussey's done that. Just drifted a little wide, but too full. Again, length was the issue. Of course, Peterson's just brilliant. Kill you if you stray.
Into the gap again for Strauss. And there's 50. Comfortably pick up 2. 51 runs coming from just 50 balls, so it's really well played. In fact, 51 balls, so a runner ball for the English captain. And what a summer he's had. That's off the leading edge and taken very simply. Clark the catcher. The end of a wonderful Strauss innings.
But not as big an innings as Strauss would have wanted to play. Brett Lee is the man who's done the damage. He thought he had a wicket much earlier than this, but he bowled a no ball, so he'll be delighted to be on the card. He's bringing a lot of energy to this Australian side now. If he can bring some wickets, some catches, affect a few things in the match, it will now help the Australians. Strauss has made 63. It's 3 for 131.
Doherty continues. Chipped away, and no one down there. This outfield's fast, and that's 4. Well, that is very well played. A little bit of a gap on the boundary down there.
Oh, it's a big gap. It's easily used, wasn't it? So he risked going against the spin, but Doherty hasn't been spinning it anyway, and that's powerful. Powerful. Doherty not bowling to his field, and Bell nailing him.
Well, here is Steve Smith into the attack from the members' end.
Straight to extra cover. Ian Bell had done a lot of fiddling around with Steve Smith. He's only bowled him 7 balls, but Smith has won that battle comprehensively.
Good effort, Steve Smith using flight. Bell was just trying to pick the extra cover area, maybe just chipping in over the top. I'd say is what he's attempting to do. He got too close to the ball, couldn't get the elevation. Timely wicket. 4 for 174.
Fight! Oh, out as well. We've a different thing altogether on our hands. Steve Smith strikes again.
Oh, the value of the leggy. The value of the leggy. Steve Smith's gone bang, bang. 2 wickets in a couple of overs. Just saying how well Owen Morgan's hitting the ball. That was also out of the middle, but just a bit of turn. It may have held up a little bit. Smith's got another wicket, and Australia are clawing their way back into the game. England now 5 for 186.
Steve Smith, having just picked up the wicket of Owen Morgan, almost picks up the wicket of Michael Yardy. 5 for 186, Australia fighting back.
Back in the attack, and I say the value of the leggy. I like the fact that Clark has got Smith into the attack.
And another stumping chance. You wouldn't believe it. That's the third of the innings.
Oh, that's a big one too. Peterson, just after the wicket. Oh, that's a big moment. That's a huge moment in the game.
He's been
Good thump of a full toss. It's a very big thump too.
Yeah, he's strong down the ground. He really is. Smart play, use of the feet, got the fully, and then smacked through the line. There's a fielder there. He was never in the frame. Oh, it's one boundary in the innings and now 1-6.
Peterson again. Hey, beauty. Hey, biggie.
And what a way to get to 50. 6-6. And the second one's a monster. Absolute monster. Over the sight screen and up on the first tier. Flat and hard and off the boards on the first tier.
Fine leg is on the ring, just near the umpire. You can see him. The other three men on the leg side are out on the boundary. Here goes, straight down the ground. Bisects everything, as well as the side screen.
There we are, heels over. That's what he had in mind right from the start of this over, I reckon. It's not a big boundary. He's in very, very good form. He's already taken Hussey down there twice. And this is flat and straight.
I think that's pretty big, but the man's out there. It's Mike Hussey by the look of it. Bollinger gets some value. Yardy has to go.
Mike Hussey under a cricket ball is as safe as a house. He very seldom puts them down and never looked like putting that one down. So a pretty big wicket. They keep chipping away at these wickets. It'll slow England down. Here he comes. Just watch him. Takes it no trouble at all. So a wicket to Bollinger. The end of Yardy for 9, 6 for 236.
The bowler's got to help him out. That'll be gone. There is a pounce if ever I've seen one. That is brilliant work. The old foot skills.
Well, we've seen Mitchell Johnson do this a couple of times throughout the year. Peterson, I think, feels he's gone. He was about to continue running. Started taking his gloves off and then stopped, but, oh, he's got to go here. He's out by a metre. Mitchell Johnson has done it beautifully. Just when Australia really needed it too. With the batting power play just being taken by England. Peterson on 78. He was about to cut loose and get to 100. This could just change the game back in Australia's favour a little bit and make the bowling power play or the batting power play a lot easier for them. This will be out. Peterson will have to go. Great time for an Australian wicket and the crowd responds. Peterson will have to go for 78. He played very well for that. England now 7 for 257.
Like that, Ian. Has it got the pace to get to the boundary? It certainly does. Almost picked up pace. That was nicely played to the onside. It was the slower bouncer. And was fine enough. That's the wrong area for Mitchell Johnson. It was just on leg stump, perfectly set up to flick to the onside. And it sneaks into the boundary rope. This is going to carry to third man. It did easily. The top edge, straight to Doherty at third man. He hardly had to move. It's always a bit of a gift, but Brett Lee will take it.
Interesting enough, Brett Lee looked around at Bruce Oxenford, the umpire, just to make sure he hadn't bowled a no ball. Because he bowled one earlier today that got called back against Andrew Strauss. And he caught on the fence. Same fielder too. Doherty takes the catch. This time, there's no recalling him. Brett Lee just finding out, yeah, that's okay. No ball that time. You can have that one. England now 8 for 271.
Johnson again. It's been chipped to the fieldsman. Doherty, the ball is following him. It's nice when they follow you in that fashion. No way was he putting that one down, and a good change-up. Mitchell Johnson is getting himself going when his team needs him.
And still 2.1 overs remaining after this dismissal, and England are now 9 down, so still might struggle to get to 300 here. Still a very good score. Swans only contributed 5.
Nothing wrong with that stroke at all. At all. Maximum. And that'll finish Brett Lee for the night with the ball, that is. 9 for 285. Shazad, that was tremendous hit. It was a lusty blow to finish off Brett Lee. 9 overs, 2 for 43. He didn't need that 6. It was in the slot, and Shazad went bang, as Bill Laurie would say.
She still took some hitting though, didn't it? Brilliant. And that's a similar shot that Bresnan played in the 2020 against Brett Lee. He must guard against being in that slot. He went 4 Yorkers in a row before he changed to a loose bounce of the ball before this.
This one, fine leg. Does the mopping up at Shane Watson. How big's his role tonight? He needs to get off to one of those consistent starts. Can he get the 50 and go on in one-day cricket? That'll be the aim for Watson.
The other one is Brad Haddin. That's the other one I'm interested to see. He hasn't had a good day with the gloves. Confidence is down a bit. Australia need him to bat well. It's a good pitch. When you've got number 10s hitting 6s, it's a good pitch.
That's a good hit. Take the catch in the crowd. Set yourself. No, I think he's put it down. Tremlett has hit a monster.
How big? How big? I reckon about 110.
107, Peels, 107. He just didn't quite get it.
No, I'll go 101. 101 I'll take. Geez, it's right where you want it though, isn't it? Dragged it down.
Oh no, Mitchell Johnson's hung on to it for just a little too long there. What was he thinking? I think he was confused about what to bowl and then forgot to let go of it. He's been intimidated by Tremlett, who's got the long levers. He set himself again to hit in the same vicinity, and whoopsie.
Tremlett's had a personality change this over too. He was very awkward against Brett Lee last over. This last over of the innings, he is loving it.
And Brad Haddin will take the 10th wicket. An easy catch. Mitchell Johnson getting one in the right area. And the total for England, 294. Very imposing. It's been structured with a lot of the batsmen doing a job. And they're able to set a few good partnerships throughout. So it's going to take some chasing down, that's for sure. Australian bowlers have been changed often, and a lot have been used actually. Michael Clarke was rotating and using quite a few bowlers throughout the evening. So England, 294, that will take some tough chasing. So we'll say goodbye from the MCG, and you'll be back to see Australia attempt the run chase.
And the Englishmen are out there on the field ready to go, as is the case these days. Just finished a series of warm-up drills. They're loose and they're ready to defend a massive total that they've put on the board in Game 1 of the Commonwealth Bank Series here at the MCG. 294 is on the board, and that's how they did it. Strauss and Davies were excellent at the top of the order. 90 was their opening partnership in real quick time. Commentary box, I'm joined by James Brayshaw and Mark Taylor.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Good evening to everyone at home. Really has to start well here from an Australian point of view. You mentioned the opening stand between Davies and Strauss. That got the ball rolling for England. Watson and Haddin have the ability to do exactly the same tonight. Important for Brad Haddin to start well. He hasn't had a good night with the gloves. Didn't play in the 2020 matches earlier in the week. Be nice to him to get a few away early doors.
night to everyone watching. It's going to be a beauty, I reckon. Big total. And someone from this Australian top order's got to go big 120 or 130 and be the innings around which the whole team chases down a big total. Conditions couldn't be better. Perfect pitch. Beautiful day here in Melbourne. Good crowd in the house. It's all set up.
It's worked off his pads and could be 4. They've got the man behind square, very square. And Watson squeezes the first boundary. Batting could be at its easiest right now. This new ball coming onto the bat, and once Haddon and Watson get set, they could find some good times. England have gone with, first of all, Bresnan. Second new ball bowler is Tremlett.
And the pitch is a bit more of a browner colour than it used to be. I used to think sometimes that batting at this time of night wasn't easy, because occasionally you would lose the ball with that sun slowly disappearing, some of the shadows coming across the ground. Occasionally the wicket would really shine up and be quite white. It's a bit browner these days.
The other thing which is allowing batting to be okay at the moment is that it's been rolled. We saw the scuff marks be quite abrasive and rough, and see just on the right of screen there where Watson's walking through, much flatter than it was at the end of the English innings. Now that won't take long, that'll scuff back up, and that's what Swan wants to operate out of. The longer that stays smooth, the better. Again, big gap at square leg. Tremlett can't afford to get wide. He can't afford to get wide outside off either. That's good.
That is smoked backward a point, and one of the real strengths of Shane Watson's game. When it's short and wide, he is capable of really doing some big-time damage, and that is a nice cricket shot. Not a hell of a lot of room, right out of the middle, and that's 4.
Tremlett continues. Watson is back into the action. They can't stop him. 22.
That is a terrific shot from Shane Watson. We're only talking an over ago about how straight the mid-on and mid-off are. Something England have done all season. Jonathan Trott almost gets that, but it's timed so well and placed so well, it's still a boundary. Just misses the stumps. And watch Trott here. He almost gets it. Puts a finger on it. That's how straight they are at mid-on and mid-off.
That is glided so well.
And that boundary has been brought about by the fact that Andrew Strauss had to change his field. His 2 catching men now are in front of the wicket. He's got a short mid-wicket and a short cover. No slips. So Watson's now able to get a little bit funky and look to run balls down to third man and fine leg. He's not as worried now about getting an edge. And doing so, it's created a bigger gap there. Peterson wasn't quick enough to get there.
And Australia have just started their chase. It's a big one.
Well, that's handy. We'll take that every day. Brad Haddon, once again, he's thinking offside. He wants to pierce that offside gap. Tremlett's doing the right thing, hitting the deck hard, cramping him up. What you don't need from a bowler's point of view is a little inside edge. Well, that's good if you're a batsman. Real good. Beats the short fine leg boundary. Just what you're after.
It's a dangerous little patch this, I reckon. It's been a quiet 5 or so minutes, and that can often bring out a big shot and a premeditated big shot. There's the view that Shane Watson sees, and there's just fieldsmen everywhere, and the straight ones Mark Taylor's talking about.
Slow ball. Is it all the way? Of course it is.
The big shot's only dangerous if you don't go. He went, and it's went and went and went. 15 rows back. Watson finishes with a big 6. It's none for 56.
He's playing along the ground square of the wicket, pull shots, cut shots, and he's spotted the slow ball, the field up, and the ground not big enough. Magnificent strike. Good grab too off the hands. He liked it too, right from the word go. The rebound. Oh, saved it. It's another slow ball. That's top edge. Has he got enough on it? Yes, he has. Desperate fielding by Trott. Just couldn't pull off the specky. So welcome to Tony Gregg and Michael Slater.
Yeah, thank you. He just didn't quite get it right, Trott, did he? He's paused for a second as the ball was in the air. Slightly slower ball. It wasn't very well hit. It was a little off-cutter. And, well, have a look at this. He paused and then got a hand on it. And as he dropped it, a huge roar went up in the ground here. What good camera work that is. That's just outstanding.
Oh, he nearly got it. He nearly got it. It just rolled out of the fingers. Might be nodding 100 this evening. If you keep getting to 50, you are going to get to 100. He's got the 50 right there. And it's been an entertaining one, as it always is with Shane Watson. He's a very consistent opening batsman these days, and one worth watching.
Yes, he is. He does this very, very well. Opening the batting has become something he clearly enjoys very much. It suits him. He likes to get forward. The new ball comes onto the bat, and he's pretty consistent.
Bowling power play in action from this over. And it's going to be Tim Bresnan. What impact will it have? Good impact for the Aussies. Haddon, that's his second boundary of his innings. He's been, well, he hasn't had a lot of the strike, to be honest, but that'll help the cause.
Haddon's been looking forward to getting a boundary away. I can tell you that. He doesn't often go for so long without a boundary. He's got two now, and he's almost up to a run a ball. That's something else that I think you can rest assured on. If Haddon's out there for any length of time, he's going to be scoring at a run a ball.
Now back live. Nicely played. There's good runs here. There'll be 4 of them, in fact. And the crowd will appreciate that. This is a strong celebration at the MCG, celebrating 40 years of one-day cricket. It's no wicket for 85. Shazam. There's one through the onside. There's a beauty down the ground.
Oh, that's an extraordinary shot. England trying to bowl up and straight to relatively straight fields, which has been the way that they've done it, going right back to when they first started playing one-day cricket way back in the mid-60s. But that was brilliantly placed. Oh, what timing.
Just over-pitched for that line. They've been getting it up into the hip region of Brad Haddon. This time, half volley, not really half volley. It wasn't that bad a ball, but not bouncing high enough.
There's a change in the field immediately. Long on in place. Now he goes the offside. That's where he likes hitting. That's where he's been trying to size up for some time, and he gets a ball in the perfect area. So consecutive boundaries. The first one a reminder how strong he is on the onside. He shouldn't forget that shot, but allowed a change in line from Shazad, and it was a case of Haddon getting the execution right. He did.
Well, Andrew Strauss too scared to keep Yardie in the attack, even though he's been economical. Get Shazad on, and he's getting it wrong. He's getting hammered.
Graham Swan, the offie, comes into the attack.
There is a man who might catch that and does. My goodness me, Shazad made that look easy. Oh, Brad.
It's a really disappointing finish for Brad Haddon. He'd worked so hard and partnered his opening partner really well. And just when they needed consolidation, it is a pretty simple catch in the outfield. Australia have lost their first wicket. England keep it on track. 1 for 110.
It's been a long time coming, but England have a wicket. We're midway through the 20th over. Australia requiring 6, just a tad over 6 and over to win the game. Are well placed, but England will be buoyed by the wicket of Brad Haddon. The opening partnership is broken. The Australian captain Michael Clarke comes to the crease.
This is good stuff. 1 run from this over, very few from the previous. I can't believe it.
Oh no, Graham Swan will hate it. And Shane Watson cashes in when the chance comes his way. 1 for 117.
And so Watson is the white one.
He's running freely for the first one. Watson will come back. This will test his calf out. He gets there. There's 2. Strike rate has been up over 100 for the majority of the innings. It's now crept to just below 90 as he goes into the gap in the deep. He gets a good piece of it as well and rockets into the 90s.
That's good thinking. He knows that Michael Yardy's not a great spinner of the ball, so he's hitting with the angle that's coming into him from wide on the crease. It's also his strongest area against slow bowling. Always very happy hitting in that arc.
Yes.
That's good work. That's what he does well, Michael Clark. And he tests out his sprinting shoes as well. Very tight and deep.
Tremlett doesn't think it's out. He thinks he's missed it by a few inches. It was a fabulous throw. He wasn't as quick to the ball as he might have been, which is why Michael Clark was happy to sprint back for the second. Oh my goodness, this is tight.
This is really tight. Really tight.
Must just be in.
It's that frame just over the line. Yeah, you can't give that out. That's it. Michael Clark just makes it.
His running wasn't good, Michael Clark. He turned blind down the other end. That's a run you just don't turn blind on. And he's just made it.
Just. There, he's in there. That's when the bails really are broken.
Yeah. Well, that's a very different view, isn't it? Yeah. You've got to give him the benefit of the doubt, haven't you? Because there is doubt. There, that frame allows him to just get home, I reckon.
And the sprinting shoes were just fast enough. It's 1 for 149.
Trott's in the attack. What's he bowl?
You can't forget that Watson got his maiden test century here at the MCG. It might be that he's got 4 ODI hundreds, but not 1 in Australia, so he might be opening an account in Australia right here. And that was in the air over the head of Trott. Very slim chance of the Corn Gold. He comes back for 2. And Shane Watson has converted to the 3 figures. Champion innings.
Clark. That's what Watson's saying. Thanks, mate. He's got out of the non-strikers box, quick as you like. Come back to the danger end, knowing that Watson would be safe at the keeper's end. 100. Yuki.
So there's number 5. His second against England and his first in Australia. So Watson 101. Haddon was an interesting shot he played to get out, but it was a strong contribution. And Clark, just get a sense he's getting himself going. 2 more overs. Australia will get a harder, cleaner ball. It just makes for better stroke play. That's a big moment in any one-day international now. That second new ball, if you like. It's an old ball, but it's a newer ball. It just helps the run scoring again. Let's not forget the batting power play.
Could be timed very soon for the batting power play, you know.
Dead straight. That's the place to go.
Yardy disgusted. He's kicked the ground. He wasn't happy. He's bowled a half volley. It's unheard of. 6.2 overs, none for 30 now.
Well, there's the required run rate. That's of interest, and you've got 9 wickets in the bank too. That's of strong interest to both sides. It's looking good for Australia when you see 9 there. 7.5 though. At what point do you think you start panicking? Is it 10 and above these days?
Yeah, maybe. I've heard Queensland sort of say that in one big run chase they had, they were happy to get it to 135 off 20. No, it might have been 15.
No, that's easy. That's better than
it
that.
might have been 15. And they were happy with that. So how many's that off? That's 9 and over, and they were happy.
Yeah, I think 9s is often a break figure nowadays. Anything easy, better than 9s, you reckon is fine. Anything over 9s, you've got to rethink.
It's definitely lifted though. The players don't feel it as early as they used to. This is why we're in a situation of a special run chase. If Watson stays out there, Australia will do this and do it easily.
How'd he get so much length on this? Talked about his back earlier, but he's low, he's back, and gets about 95 metres onto it.
Enormously strong upper body strength. Sort of pivots, doesn't he?
Got home with that. This is going to be bigger. What are we witnessing here? This is what you're talking about, Nico. This is something pretty special.
Thank you, Slats.
This one probably not as long, but higher. First one, just how do you do that? Second one, it's there to be hit. It's in the slot. Gets it high. It lands similar length, I reckon.
Trim to bowl. Clark will look for 2 here. No. It's the ball. Oh, hits the stumps. Now they get some runs. Get some overthrows. They might get a couple. Oh, the worm is turning. And the crowd is cheering. 1 becomes 3.
Well, that throw did come in like a rocket from Peterson, and now it's going around all over the place, and they've got another one. Oh, England, very unlike them. They've been very professional throughout this tour, and I tell you what, he is fuming.
That's Michael Clark's first boundary. There it is. His first 4. Races to 30 on the back of that boundary. It's a very good piece of fielding, really, Kevin Peterson. It was a good chance of 2 when the ball was hit. Clark really hustled the first one. Looked for 2. Didn't go on the strength of Peterson's fielding and then throw, but the throw hit the stumps. That was the problem.
No good from the keeper's point of view. He had no play on that ball at all. And here's the second part. There's Brisbane throwing the ball in. No one really attending the stumps. And then it's through his legs, and that's the skipper. So he can't blame anyone else.
Oh, I think he was fuming himself.
So Australia have now chosen to take the batting power play. So the batting power play has now been taken by Australia. Straight to a man at cover. That's exactly what England need. A wicket or 2. Clark hit that well, but couldn't find a gap.
Yeah, he's trying to get underneath it. He just didn't time it well enough or lift it powerfully enough. Didn't quite hit it. Let's see where it hits the bat. Yeah, it looked like it was quite low down. He backed away, but that is a bit of a blow. Although there's plenty of batting to come. Australia 2 down or 213. Michael Clark, the last man out. Caught by Shazad bowled Bresnan for 36.
Well, this first game in this Commonwealth Bank Series is going to go right down to the wire, you reckon? Australia have just lost their second wicket. Michael Clark, the man out, and a change in the batting order. Steve Smith straight in. He's come from, well, about position number 7 on our batting card to bat, probably because of the power play overs. Wicket fell in the first of these 5 power play overs. Straight away, Smith's been sent up. I dare say to hit, and hit hard. It's got a bit of fielding. It's 2 for 2-1-3. through first slip for 4. That's why he's been sent out there to hit boundaries. Australia don't care where they come from.
Interesting delivery, wasn't it? It was a slower bouncer. Just watch him pull this down. There we are, a little off-cutting bouncer. And you can see he got himself in all sorts. What a shot is that?
Well, he's attempted a swat. That's all it is. Now, if he actually hit that out of the middle, I'm not sure where that ball would have gone.
Goes, oh, no luck. Gets an edge. Yardy takes a good catch at deep 5th slip.
Well, you said no luck, Tub, and you're spot on, and that's the second example of it. I thought Michael Clark was stiff. Shelled one straight to a fielder, and look at that, thick outside edge. It's carried to the edge of the circle. Good catch, good result for England. And Smith, dangerous hitter, has have to exit the stadium. 3 for 220.
Quick wickets in recent times for England. Once again, the game back in the balance. Clark followed by Smith, now Michael Hussey. Oh, good shot from Michael Hussey. That'll do. That's punched down the ground for 4.
What is that? Just got out there, Huss, and smoked it back down the ground. Unbelievable. Could not have hit that any cleaner. That was 4 from the moment it left the bat.
Hard to believe that there were some people who seriously thought this guy shouldn't have been in the Australian side at the beginning of the season. He has played superbly, and that's the reaction of Bresnan. There's nothing much you can do about shots like that. The England bowlers are inclined to bowl it up and straight to a straight field. Hussey, he's inclined to hit it back as hard as it arrives and straighter. That is a great shot.
Required run rate's just dipped below 7 now for Australia. Pull shot. He's got enough on it, has he? Yes, he has. It's 6. It's all the way. I reckon that's just cleared the rope.
He's taken the mickey, Huss. He's walked out when batting's been really difficult for nearly everyone else and has gone bang, bang. Not sure if that was top edge. I'm not sure if it was top half. Whatever it was, he had enough on it to get it all the way.
And the breakdown now, 53 from 48 balls remaining. It should be a doddle for Australia from here. It should be.
Popped it straight to the man at square leg, and you won't get it over his head easily. Tim Tremlett, high tower at square leg. Hussey's gone for 21.
That'll be a change of pace. That slower ball that so often works in the one-day game opens up another little avenue for England, who huddle. Strauss urges them on. Keep doing the simple thing well. Keep making it difficult for the opposition. A splendid little cameo from Michael Hussey. Just 15 balls for that 21. It's 4 for 244.
England have said Australia the largest chase ever. They need 51 or 45. Cameron White comes to the crease. Flicked away past the man. That short fine leg. And Watson gets it back in favour of Australia for that over anyway. 7 off it. Looks much better than what it was. 4 for 256. Oh, it's neck and neck. Neck and neck for sure. 5.69 is the Australian run rate. Oh, there's chaos here. Not sure whether it's leg side, wide, no ball, height, wide, no ball. It's Tremlett continuing. It's Sky. Fielder's got plenty to do, can't do it. So White and Watson are scurrying again.
Well, Jonathan Trott set himself a long way back. He had too much work to do. The top edge was never going to travel all the way to him. He had to sprint. And I think he just got there and made a meal of it. You've got to try and set your eyes, stop the bobbling that happens when you're running. And down she goes.
Absolutely flat out. Tremlett flat out as well. White's flat out again. It's going the same sort of area. All the way.
Well, it's just too predictable now, the tactic. White can set himself. He's getting all of his left side out of the way. He's standing chest on. and he's holding the bat sort of almost baseball-like and saying, I know you're going to bowl short of me. There's not been one ball pitched up to Cameron White.
Short again. Front to top.
Smacked it on the head, didn't he? Right to the turf. He's a strong boy. We've got two very strong, powerful hitters out there. Watson and White, who's a little bit more unorthodox. His technique is not as secure as Watson, but his hitting ability is probably superior once he's going.
Certainly a free swing, the way he gets his bat up and then releases through the ball. He can hit it long and aerial, powerfully along the ground. With that big gap on the right of screen, over the man in the infield. Watson's got to be eyeing it off. Oh, it's in the slot! Handy! It's 150! Still work to be done. 10 off 11. Oh, that's dangerous bowling. It's all good if you're in a green shirt.
Easy peasy for Cameron White. The low full toss with the field up. Margin for error is not huge when you're bowling. You don't have to give too much to the likes of White. Otherwise, you will be dispatched with ease.
Full toss again. Not hit well by Cameron White. Probably can't believe he got another one.
Well, he's going for Yorkers. And just getting it slightly wrong. He's only wrong by an inch, and it ends up being that full toss. Goes the other way, hangs onto it for too long. It's short of a good length. He can still be pummeled down the ground. So the Yorker, fraught with danger if you do get it wrong. It's a very difficult delivery to bowl when the pressure's on you. It's Bresnan. Just getting a little bit expensive at this stage. The game was won earlier though. The run chase has been magnificent by the Aussies.
There's the Yorker. He gets it right the third time. Lucky. 5 off 1 over and 1 ball.
Bresnan's bowled very well tonight and his figures don't show it. It's extraordinary how it can happen to you. He's now bowled 1 ball short of 10 overs for 70. Take 2 wickets in that time, but at key moments he's been able to deliver quite telling overs. Gee, it's a hard game. In fact, this has been a hard game of one-day cricket. You suspect that all the players will be utterly drained now. That means that 4 are going to be needed from the final over. We've gone to the wire again. 3 short-form games in a row.
That's it, exactly what I was thinking about. We've gone down to the last ball on the 2 20-20s and we're going down to the last over here, possibly the last ball. Been incredible. So the closeness that we thought we'd see right through the Test series and didn't in the end is here on display in the short form games, and I think the 7 one-dayers will be like this, Eels.
Well, will one side be able to raise a glass at some stage tonight and say, how much fun was that? Can both sides do it? Surely can both sides do that, because they've put on a spectacle today. Tug of war between bat and ball. The conditions have been pretty consistent for both innings.